The annual Richardson family dinner was always a spectacle, an ostentatious display of wealth and subtle, passive-aggressive competition. But this year something felt different. I, Sarah Richardson, sat quietly at the end of Loom Blanche's most exquisite table, observing my siblings parade their latest acquisitions like peacocks flaunting their vibrant plumage. Finally, I broke the silence. $50 million for the summer house is my final offer, I announced calmly. My older sister, Catherine, adjusted her Cartier bracelet and scoffed. The view of the Hamptons alone justifies that. James, my brother, swirling his glass of $800 wine, chimed in. My real estate firm just closed on that downtown development. Another $100 million added to the portfolio. He looked smug. Mother, seated at the head of the table, beamed at her children, her diamonds glittering under the crystal chandeliers. Father, meanwhile, barely glanced up from his phone, probably checking stock prices even during dinner. I was the youngest, Sarah Richardson, dressed simply in a black dress from last season, with no jewelry except my grandmother's old pearl necklace. The family disappointment who'd walked away from the Richardson Investment Group 5 years ago to find her own path. Catherine's voice dripped with thinly veiled concern. That dress. Is it from a department store? Leave her alone, Catherine, I murmured. James smirked. Not everyone can afford Chanel. Some people choose independence, he said, emphasizing the word as if it were a terminal illness. Mother asked, frowning slightly, how's your little consulting thing going? Investment advisory, right? I took a quiet sip of water. It's going well. Catherine snorted behind her hand. That's why you're still living in that tiny Brooklyn apartment. The waiter approached, maintaining a neutral expression. Would anyone care for the dessert menu? James announced grandly, one of everything and another bottle of Chateau Rothschild 1982. He shot me a pointed look. Don't worry about the bill, little sister. We know times are tough. Catherine's smile was predatory. She can't even pay for dinner, poor thing. Unfazed, I reached into my black purse and pulled out my wallet. Then softly I said, actually I'll handle the bill, and revealed my black card. Pierre, please charge it to the owner's account. The waiter's eyes widened in recognition. Of course, Miss Richardson. Catherine's fork clattered against her plate. Owner's account? What's he talking about? I set my card on the table, its distinctive black metal gleaming. I hadn't planned to mention it tonight, but since money had come up, I pulled out my phone and slid it across the table, displaying a news article set to go public in the morning. I just acquired Lumes' entire group, 37 restaurants nationwide, I said calmly. A hushed silence fell over the table. Even Father looked up from his phone. That's impossible, James stammered. Lumes Group is worth $2.4 billion. I closed the deal this afternoon, I replied. Mother's glass paused midair. But how? Smiling slightly, I said, remember that consulting firm you've been mocking? Turns out quiet success is still success. While you were all busy buying summer homes and flaunting at charity galas, I was building something bigger. Catherine reached for her phone, trembling slightly as she read the headline. Loom Group acquired by Shadow Valley Capital. Sarah Richardson emerges as a new force in luxury hospitality. Father's voice sharpened. Shadow Valley Capital? That's the firm acquiring luxury brands across Europe. I nodded, taking another sip of water. We prefer to operate discreetly. Less attention, better deals. James frantically searched on his phone. This can't be true. Shadow Valley's holdings are worth, oh my God, over $12 billion as of this morning, I confirmed, and it'll be closer to $15 billion after tomorrow's announcements. Mother's face paled. But, you've been coming to family dinners in old dresses, that Tesla Model S isn't exactly cheap. I corrected gently, just understated as success should be. Pierre returned with a leather folder. Your card, Miss Richardson, and Mr. Chin would like to know if you'll be inspecting the kitchens tonight. Not tonight, Pierre. Please tell Edward I'll be here tomorrow to discuss renovation plans, I replied, my tone calm but firm. Catherine's voice rose sharply, almost shrill. The celebrity chef, you work for him, right? I looked at her calmly. Actually, all 37 of our executive chefs work for me now, I replied evenly. Along with about 12,000 other employees across the group. Father, as usual, was absorbed in his phone, scrolling through financial news. I continued, Shadow Valley. Those are the folks who acquired that tech startup last month, the luxury hotel chain in Asia and the private airline service. Plus, a few other deals we haven't announced yet. James set his phone down so forcefully that the crystal glasses vibrated. Why didn't you tell us all these years? He demanded. Why hide it? I responded softly, tell you what, while you were bragging about hundreds of millions in deals, I was closing billion-dollar ones. My little consulting firm is actually one of the fastest-growing investment companies in the country. Catherine scoffed. And you still live in Brooklyn, she said, as if that alone violated some universal law of wealth and success. I own the building, I said with a shrug. Along with several others in the area. Real estate's a good investment, right, James? He flinched. And all those charity galas you mock me for missing? I pressed on. I'm busy establishing education foundations and building hospitals in developing countries. Genuine charity, no photo ops for page 6. Mother's hand trembled as she reached for her glass of wine. Darling, if we'd known, we'd have treated you differently. I cut her off gently. That's exactly why I didn't tell you. I wanted to see who you really are. All of you. I gestured around the elegant restaurant. This place, these restaurants, they're not just about luxury dining. They're about creating experiences, making memories. But you've all been so busy showing off your wealth, you've forgotten what it's like to truly enjoy it. Pierre approached again, professional but attentive. Ms. Richardson, Mr. Rothschild is on the line from Paris regarding the European expansion. Tell him I'll call back in an hour, I said, then turned back to my stunned family. Speaking of Europe, I added smoothly, that summer house you overpaid for, Catherine? It's actually on land I'm developing into a luxury resort. We'll be needing that property. Catherine's eyes widened. You can't. I already have, I interrupted softly. The eminent domain paperwork goes through next week. Don't worry, you'll be compensated fairly. About 30 million, I believe. Not 50, but then again you did overpay. The arrival of the dessert menu created an awkward lull. No one seemed interested in the elaborate pastries and delicacies. Father loosened his tie, a rare sign of relaxation, and Mother kept glancing between me and the article still visible on my phone, as if trying to reconcile two different versions of me. Finally, James broke the silence. I don't understand. Why keep up this charade? Why let us think you were struggling? I selected a small chocolate soule from the cart. Because money reveals character, I said simply. Both having it and pretending you don't. Catherine weakly protested, that's not fair. No, I said, raising an eyebrow. Let's review. In just the past hour you've mocked my clothes, my home, my career, and my ability to pay for dinner, all while flaunting your own wealth as if it makes you better than me. She started to speak. We were just teasing. I cut her off firmly. No. You've been cruel because you believe you can be. Because in your world, money equals worth. I took a bite of the soule. Excellent. Pierre, maybe we should give him a raise. Pierre, still nearby, smiled faintly. The thing about old money, I continued, is that it often leads to lazy thinking. You all assumed that because I walked away from the Richardson Investment Group I was walking away from success. It never occurred to you that I might be walking toward something bigger. Father cleared his throat. Shadow Valley's strategy, quiet acquisitions focus on luxury brands, is the opposite of how you've been raised. No flashy announcements, no boastful deals until they're done. Just steady, strategic growth. My phone buzzed again. I excused myself briefly. Perfect timing, I said, glancing at the screen. The London acquisition just closed. Mother's voice was faint. I confirmed and quickly responded, I said, smiling. It's a small hotel group, you might remember it. The one you always stay at during your shopping trips. Catherine's face paled, then almost went green. The Royalton Group. But that's the most exclusive hotel chain in Europe. Yes, I said softly, setting my phone down. We're renovating the penthouse you love so much. Don't worry, you'll get a nice room when you visit. Family discount, of course. James looked bewildered. But all those family dinners listening to us brag. Nothing reveals who people really are, I finished smoothly, like letting them think they're better than you. Mother dabbed at her eyes with her napkin, her voice trembling. Darling, we've been horrible. I met her gaze calmly. Yes, you have. But that's not why I'm telling you all this now. Father's voice was quiet but steady. Then why? I leaned back, studying each of them. Because tomorrow morning Shadow Valley goes public. We're projected to be the largest IPO of the year. And since I own 82% of the company, let that sink in. Father quickly did the math, his face draining of color. That would make you the wealthiest Richardson by far. Yes, I confirmed. And more importantly, it means some changes are coming to our family dynamics. Changes. Catherine's voice was small, uncertain. Like what? For instance, I continued, those weekly family dinners where you all compete to show off your latest purchases? They're over. From now on, there will be monthly board meetings to discuss charitable initiatives. Your attendance is mandatory if you want to keep your trust funds. James scoffed. You can't do that. Those trusts are ironclad. I am ironclad, I corrected smoothly. Until I bought the bank that manages them. Mother's hand shot to her throat. Sarah, please. I kept my tone gentle but firm. Don't worry. I won't cut anyone off. That would make me just as petty as you've all been. I gestured toward Pierre, who approached with a sleek leather portfolio. Inside you'll find details of the Sarah Richardson Foundation. Its mission is to provide education and healthcare access to underserved communities worldwide. Each of you will be taking an active role in its management. Catherine's eyes widened in horror. Active? You mean actually working? Yes, I said. No more writing checks for photo ops. You'll meet the people we help, understand the difference between simply having money and truly making a difference. Father regarded me with new, contemplative eyes. You planned this all along, didn't you? I've been planning my success, I replied simply. Teaching you all a little humility is just a bonus. My phone buzzed again. I glanced at the screen. That's the Tokyo office. If you'll excuse me. I stood, smoothing my department store dress. Pierre, please ensure my family gets whatever they'd like for dessert, and send some of those chocolate soufflés to my office tomorrow. Of course, Miss Richardson. I paused, then added, oh, and one more thing. Next month's board meeting, forget the designer labels and jewelry. We'll be breaking ground on a new hospital in Guatemala. Dress appropriately. As I walked away, I overheard Catherine whisper, what just happened? A quiet smile played on my lips. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving people wrong about you. It's making them better, even if it means buying their souls along the way.